everybody, it's your girl Latrice here with a chit chat. Military life, what's up? We in it. So this is a collaboration with Being Andy Jane. Like, I freaking love her. She is a sergeant in the National Guard, and I have not met her in person, but I follow her on YouTube, or I have subscribed to her on YouTube, and I absolutely love her channel theme, which is her in the military, like you traveling with her, going on deployments with her, all that cool stuff. So 1, you need to follow her. 2, you need to follow me. 3, you need to follow all of us on social media. Make sure you check out her video, which is essentially the same as mine except from the enlisted perspective. So she's also in the Army, and she's a reservist, and she is enlisted, while I am active duty. I'm an officer and I'm in the Army. So there's two different perspectives right there, totally two different routes, but we kind of end up in the same place, which is in the Army. So with that, all of our information will be in the description box, so make sure you check that out. But without further ado, we're gonna get right on into this chit chat because I'm just trying to let y'all know my life, okay? The first question is, why did I join the military and why did I choose the Army as my branch choice? So I'm gonna go with why I joined the military, then why I chose the Army, and why I wanted active duty. So I joined the military because it's like a family tradition. A lot of my family has joined the military, from my grandpa, who's a Vietnam veteran and Purple Heart recipient, all the way to me, of course, who is in now. But my fathers, my mom, who else? My uncles, like a lot of my family has joined the military. If I can say this accurately, I think I am the first female officer who's in the military in my family. I think I'm the first, no, my mom's the first female, but I'm the first female officer out of my family who has been in the military. So there you go, made history. So that's why I joined the military. Why I joined the Army is because based off of like competitiveness, the Army was a little bit less competitive than the Air Force. So I did Air Force JROTC in high school, and I wanted to do the Air Force, but I didn't meet the criteria for the scholarship. So I tried to do the Army scholarship, but I didn't check my email, so I missed out on that. So at that point, I had to compete for a scholarship while I was in school. So the first thing I did when I went to the University of South Carolina was ask the recruiter, the Army recruiter, why I should pick the Army. He said, well, the Air Force needs 90 officers while the Army needs about 900 officers. So I was like, dang, there it is, competitiveness less with the Army. So I was like, boom, I'll go with the Army. You know what I'm saying? It was just that simple. So I went with the Army. Why I chose active duty? Economy was horrible, like horrible when I first decided I wanted to go into the Army. So I was like, I need to make this money, you know what I'm saying? I need to get this money. I need some healthcare coverage, you know, whatnot, whatever. So I already had a degree, so school really wasn't like this big, huge deal for me at that point in my life, because I was already like pursuing my bachelor's degree. So active duty, it was it. And like traveling, of course, like being able to travel while being on active duty is great as well. So that is why I chose to go active duty. We're going to move on to the next question, which is my job choice and the criteria to join as an officer. So job choice, I chose to be a chemical officer. There's this thing called a branch detail, which means you pretty much decide on, out of 4 branches, which is infantry, armor, field artillery, or chemical, which one you want to do for 3 to 4 years. And then once you have completed your time in service for one of those 4 branches, then you can pick between military intelligence, finance, human resources, which is adjutant general for officers, and signal, I want to say is the fourth one. You can choose between those four to be your end all be all career. So I do 4 years of chemical, and then I can continue my career as whatever one of those fours I want to do. So my choice was, I chose to be chemical. So right now I'm a chemical officer. So in 3 to 4 years, I will make captain, and I will move on and do human resources for however long I plan to stay in the military. So that is why I chose the branch I am now, so that I could get the branch I wanted later, because it is very competitive to get the branch that you want. And you have to have like really high scores and really good PT and do really well at schools to get your preference. So again, with any of these jobs in the Army, you're going to go where the Army wants you to go, but you have a better chance of going where you want to go if you do very well in those specific things, plus a little bit more. I just gave you guys a brief little rundown on that. So that is also the criteria to join, with the exception of you have to have a degree. So you have to have a bachelor's degree before you can commission into the Army or any branch as an officer. So my experience at my basic schools and my job related schools. So when I was in ROTC, which is what we do in college, while JROTC is what you do in high school. But while I was in ROTC, we trained up for 3 years to go to our first school, which is called our Basic Officer Leadership Course 1, or Alpha. But it is also called LDAC. It's now called CLC. They've changed the name, just keeps changing. But yeah, so went to LDAC. That was a month. That is the equivalent to basic training for an enlisted person or somebody who wants to be an enlisted soldier. Now, the level of toughness is definitely very different, but same concept, same concept. So, went to LDAC, and yeah, it was a pretty great experience. Like, I recommend to anyone who goes to any schools within the Army is to find your person. Find your person to help you get through. I've always seemed to find that person. Whatever school I went to, I found that person. Not that I was looking for them, but I just found them. Like me and my friend Peters, my friend Jibo, all my people from LDAC, man, we still tight to this day. That's just how small the Army is and how much of a bond you build in such little time. So find your person, help you get through these things. But it was definitely an experience for that month. Everything that we had been learning for 3 years, we got tested on at that school. And as far as my job related course, it was BOLIC B, which is the Basic Officer Leadership Course B, which doesn't have another name. But it is, that one was 17 weeks long. It's a chemical course. Everyone has a different amount of time it takes to finish their course based off of their job or whatever. But mine was 17 weeks. And again, found my people, still tied to this day. Anna, girl, how you doing? What's up, KC? Hey. And all my dudes, all my homies, y'all too many to name because y'all just so dope. But yeah, so, found them. I can't lie, it's a long process, but like it's really just about adjustment. Once you get adjusted to being there and studying and everything like that, you're good. Like I stopped counting weeks, like because I was starting to count days and weeks because I was just ready to leave. But I stopped counting at like week 4. After that, it was like once you're a month in, it's like, okay, everything is pretty much smooth on sailing from there. So more details on that, just put it in the discussion board. I mean, I could provide so much more information, but I really don't want to make this video like stupid long. So in the last Ooh, and the last question, which is like the one. Would I recommend officer side versus enlisted side? Or, yeah, officers versus enlisted. Whew, that is a tough one. So I would definitely recommend the officer side. However, I do feel like there should be some type of enlisted experience. Like, we should have to go to basic training or something to the exact equivalent of what an enlisted soldier has to go do. Just to have that experience, or a year or something on the enlisted side, so that we can see what enlisted soldiers go through, like at least for a second. Not to say that they go through like everything is really rigorous or whatever like that, but you know, it is good to be able to see and feel and empathize with your soldiers that you are leading. So that's why I feel like having a taste of the enlisted side would benefit an officer. However, I recommend the officer side just because, one, you already have your bachelor's degree. So once you get out, like, it's smooth sailing from there. You still have military benefits such as like the GI Bill, things like that can help you get your master's degree. So you're just kind of excelling at that point, as well as your time in the Army. Like, you don't have to like re-enlist. Like, once you do your obligation, you can get out pretty much whenever you want to. And then I can't say it's easier because I don't know exactly what the enlisted side goes through. Like, legitly, I was in the National Guard before I commissioned as officer. I did the National Guard for like a year and a half. So, but I didn't have to go to basic or AIT. So that's where I feel like it doesn't really count for me as an enlisted soldier, because I feel like I have to do that in order to really be able to say that I've experienced being an enlisted person. So needless to say, I recommend going the officer route. I feel like it's probably way less stressful than anything else. And like I said, the benefits are great because, like, pretty much you can come out of the Army and have a job and a degree and continue your education. You know, not to say you can't do that as an enlisted soldier, but it's just a little bit harder to do because you have to pretty much do it simultaneously. If you want to come out the Army with the degree, you have to be like in the Army or do Army stuff full time as well as work on the degree. So, you know, it's just a little bit easier to be able to do ROTC and get your degree and then commission at the end of it all. I hope this video wasn't long as heck, but I hope that I gave you as much information as I can. I was kind of all over the place, but if you have any more questions, put them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to either one, do another video, or two, answer them in the discussion board, in the comments, give you the best feedback I can, and help you through the process if you feel like you want to join the military. It's a great thing to do, and it's great for you, great for me, and great for the world. Alright guys, see you in my next upload.